is Hannah Miller, and today I will be testing the movement of particles through a membrane to determine if plastic baggies are semi-permeable, impermeable, or permeable. So first step, I took my measuring cup and I'm going to fill each cup that is labeled with either cornstarch and water or diluted iodine, and I'm going to fill it with 1 cup of water, room temperature at 75 degrees. Now once each cup is full with 8 ounces of water, you're going to take each bag that has the same diluted iodine or cornstarch and water, and you're going to put 2 ounces of water in each bag. And make sure to close up the baggies so there's no leakage of water or liquids. Once you finish putting 2 ounces of water in each bag, you're then going to put the correct amount of cornstarch in the corresponding cups that say cornstarch and water. So you're going to put 1 teaspoon of cornstarch in with the water. Then you're going to get a stirring stick or a spoon to gently stir the cornstarch into the water. So as you notice, the water is becoming white with the cornstarch. Then you're going to do the same. So once you finish stirring the cornstarch into the water in the cups, you then want to put cornstarch into the corresponding baggies. So because there's 8 ounces of water in the cups with a teaspoon of cornstarch, you want to do the same ratio. So there's only 2 ounces of water in the bags, so that's 1/4 of a cup. So you want to do 1/4 of a teaspoon into the baggies and carefully close the bags. So once you put the cornstarch into the water, you want to make sure that all your bags are closed so you have no leaking. And then you're going to close your cornstarch, you're going to move on to the iodine. So the iodine is going to go into the baggie first. So you want to put a total of 10 drops. In each baggie. So now that all of the cups in the bags are full of their corresponding ingredients, you're then going to take your cornstarch water bags and you're going to put them in the opposites. You're going to put them in the diluted iodine. And then after we put them in the cups, we're going to take 2 of the cups, 1 of each test, so 1 with cornstarch and water and 1 with diluted iodine, and put 2 in the fridge at about 40 degrees. We're going to keep 2 in room temperature, which is 75 degrees. We're going to put 2 outside, which is 90 degrees, and we're going to put 2 in the freezer, which is 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go ahead and submerge this in there. Then we're going to take the diluted iodine bags and put them in their cornstarch and water cups. So now I'm going to take, before I put these in their respected temperatures, I'm going to take my initial observations. So as you can see in the diluted iodine cups with the cornstarch and water submerged, there seems to be no permeation starting yet. And the diluted iodine is of an orange brownish color, and the cornstarch and water is almost of like a milky white. And same with the cornstarch water with the diluted iodine submerged in it. The diluted iodine is of an orangish color and the cornstarch is at a milky white color. And we're now going to put these in their environments for 15 minutes and then take new observations. Now we're going to put these, we're going to leave 2 in room temperature. We're going to put 2 into the refrigerator. And we are going to let each of these tests sit for 15 minutes, which we have on the phone. So after 15 minutes, you're going to now observe and take observations of the samples. So here in our room temperature water, which is at 75 degrees, we have the diluted iodine, which is submerged into the cornstarch water. And as we can tell, it might be kind of hard to see, but there is purple residue coming from the bag of diluted iodine into the cup of cornstarch and water. So it is coming out of the bag. And in the cornstarch and water, in the diluted iodine, you have the opposite occurring, and you have the diluted iodine going through the membrane of the bag into the cornstarch and water in the bag. So this is showing you that the diluted iodine is moving into the cornstarch. So in the refrigerator cups, which is about at 60 degrees right now, in the diluted iodine cup with the cornstarch submerged, we actually do see residue in the bag, just like in the room temperature. And in the cornstarch cup with the diluted iodine submerged in it, we're not quite seeing any results yet. So there's no iodine going out of the bag into the cornstarch yet. So the ones in the freezer, the diluted iodine, which is submerged with the cornstarch and water, we are seeing results just like the other tests so far, and there is purple residue in the bag. But the other one with the diluted iodine submerged in the cornstarch and water, we're not quite seeing the same results. There seems to be no purple residue in with the cornstarch and water quite yet. So we're going to leave these in here for another 15 minutes and check it again at 30. They're outside, and the temperature of the liquids in the cups right now are about 80 degrees. You have the diluted iodine in with the cornstarch and water. In this, you can see that it's already leaving purple residue in the water, or in the liquid. And this one, which is the cornstarch and water submerged in the diluted iodine, you can see very clearly that there is purple residue in the bag. So the diluted iodine is going into the cornstarch and water. After 30 minutes, you're going to record your final observations. So this is the one in the room temperature, which is at about 75 degrees. So the diluted iodine, which is submerged in the cornstarch water, you can see a purple residue in with the liquid. And with the cornstarch and water submerged in the diluted iodine, you can clearly see the purple residue that's in with the bag that has completely permeated into the bag. So the one in the fridge, that is the fridge is at 40 degrees and the liquids are at about 45. So the cornstarch and water that is submerged in the diluted iodine, you can clearly see that it is purple as the iodine has permeated into the bag. And then the diluted iodine that is submerged in cornstarch water, as you lift it, you can see a purple residue go into the cornstarch and water. So these liquids that I just taken out of the freezer are at 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So the diluted iodine that is in with the cornstarch and water, you can see that the purple residue is kind of coming off a little bit into the cornstarch and water. And the cornstarch and water that is submerged into the iodine has a purple residue in the bag as the iodine is permeating into the bag. So after 30 minutes, the ones outside, the liquids are about at 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So the diluted iodine that is submerged in the water and cornstarch, as I lift it, there's a purple residue coming off into the cornstarch and water. And the cornstarch and water that is submerged in the diluted iodine, you can clearly see the purple residue, which is the iodine permeating into the bag of cornstarch and water. So lastly, we concluded in our experiment that the diluted iodine was of smaller particles and molecules than the cornstarch and water mixture. So that shows that the diluted iodine was able to permeate through the bag into the cornstarch and water each time, as we observed that the diluted iodine in the bags did not turn purple, and the diluted iodine in the cups did not turn purple, but the cornstarch and water in the cups did have purple residue in it, and the cornstarch and water in the baggies had lots of purple residue on it, showing that when they reacted, it caused a purple residue into the cornstarch and water. So now, after our experiment, we're going to dispose of these materials safely. So we're going to take our liquids, and we're going to put them in a container all together that we are going to dispose of properly and take it to Frisco Recycle Center for them to dispose of it, as iodine is a poison and can harm us. So once we get all these liquids out of the bag and the cups into this large container, they're then going to throw the cups and the bags into the trash can. After you're done dumping all the liquids into the container, you're going to carefully seal up the container, and this will take to the recycle center. And you're going to take your gloves off and dispose of them and throw it in the trash. And you're going to clean up your station and make sure to wash your hands and all your materials.